Hello everyone. Before the presentation start, this is educational use only. Our group is allowing our instructor Mr. Roldan Ardenes to use this as educational material. Once again, this is Region Amapolo. This is our group presentation entitled The Self from Various Perspectives of Psychology. And we have some 6 topics. The first is me, self, and I, self. Me, self, and I, self. From the word self, a self is just a person, a living, breathing, and thinking human being. We use the particle self to form reflexive pronouns, like myself and yourself, and the pronouns refer to person. So there's the simple theory of selves. Selves are persons. Based on my own understanding of me, self, and I, self, is the self consists of me and I. The me represents learned societal behaviors and expectations, and the I represents the individual identity based on the response to those social behaviors and expectations. Then me and I act to balance the self out. I is the one who knows how something feels, and me is that feeling itself. Example of I self. I know I am hurt when I am cheated. And the me self is me or my social self get hurt because I have learned from society that when cheated, one must feel hurt. Therefore, I is the self as subject and me is the self as object.
It's Donald Codera, and my topic is all about global versus differentiation of models. Global refers to the general value that a person places on himself or herself. Differentiated self refers to your ability to separate your own feelings and thought from others. Self-consciousness. Self-conscious emotions are those are affected by how we see ourselves and how we think others perceive us. They include emotions like pride, jealousy, and embarrassment. Self-multiple. A concept of the self as composed of many different self-states with different affective, perpetual, and cognitive futures. In normal development, the self-states are thought to be sufficiently compatible to allow for internal conflicts of wishes and desires with the person. One is self-looking glass. The glass self describes the process wherein individuals base their sense of self on how they believe others view them using social interaction as a type of mirrors. People use the judgment they receive from others to measure their own worth, values, and behaviors. The next is self-structure. Self-concept is an idea of oneself constructed from belief one holds about oneself and the response of others. One self-concept, also called self-construction, self-identity, self-perspective, or self-structure, is a collection of belief about oneself. Generally, self-concept embodies the answer to the question, who I am. And the next is self as flower. I symbolize myself as a flower because this shows about my life and how I encountered my problems in life. Sometimes my problem was so hard to face, but I can do my best to solve it in my own. Flower symbolizes myself when I have problems. I'm not a type of person that showy about everything like I am not show about my problem in other people. I can choose from my friends to say about everything inside of me, especially if I have a problem. I choose them because I have trust with them. The flowers symbolizes myself as a light of hope when it comes to my challenges in my life. Flowers give a wonderful meaning inside myself because it is a thing that gives me hope because when I have a problem, the flowers still bloom and it is not fading.
Good morning, everyone. We tackle you about global versus differentiated. Global self is a more on the esteem of a person, as it refers to the general value that a person places on herself. The self-knowledge that a person labeled for herself is the global self. What can you claim as your global. See, the differentiated self on the other hand is the person's ability to hold under his self. There are times wherein a person might conform or not conform with the decision of the other without the feeling of jeopardizing his hair, own goals and the values. Have your experiences exercising your different self.
According to Carl Rogers, a humanistic psychologist, the personality is made up of the real and the ideal self. They are terms used to describe the elements of a person's personality. The real self is the actual self that reflects the true qualities, aptitudes, inclinations, and characteristics of an individual. It is intrinsically who is person actually is. It is the way one thinks, feels, looks, and behaves. One's real self, however, is defined by others' self-image because they have no way of knowing how others view them. It is the self that feels most true to what and who a person is. It is the authentic self that leaves a person's feeling most at ease in their own skin. The ideal self, on the other hand, is the self defined by the characteristic to which the individual aspires. It is a self-guide. It is the self that one believes they want to be, strives to be, and believes they should be as a result of what they have learned and experienced. This self is a result of outside influence. The ideal self is the repository of values observed from others. It is the sum of all the things a person believes they should be, and that they believe others think they should be. The ideal concept may incorporate elements of what one's parents taught them, what they admire in others, what their society promotes, and what they believe in their best interest. For example, I have a friend who is autistic, and this is his real self, and his ideal is that he wants to have a family on his own someday. So meaning, congruence occurs when one perception of their real and ideal selves are mainly identical. That is when one's concept of ideal self is in alignment with one's real life. Congruence promotes a sense of self-worth and more healthy, productive.
Okay, thank you Lungakit and Kodera. Our next topic is multiple versus unified self. Multiple selves is the theories of personality reveal the influence of two themes. Human behavior is determined in part and some believe completely by stimuli in the environment. The mind is composed of multiple such subselves that are autonomous sets of psychological processes such as dreams, desires, emotions, and memories. The next is unified self. It is the integration of the subselves into one. However, integration is a task for the later part of life. It is the multiplicity of selfhood is a metaphor. The individual's belief about himself or herself, including the person's attributes and who and what the self is. The unity of selfhood is a defining fact. And there are three divisions of multiple selves: the major, minor, and micros. Major is fully fleshed out character with thoughts, desires, intentions, emotions, ambitions, and beliefs. The minor is maybe no more than a small collection of responses, just enough to deal with a particular situation, such as a compulsion to argue with certain people or smoking in certain situations. And the last, micros. Micros are the building blocks or personalities, individual responses. thoughts, ideas, habit, as small as a physical or vocal tic or a repeated intrusive thought or emotion. For my opinion in this topic is we are still growing as a person and as a person. We are confused of what we want and who we are. We are still thinking on a decision like if we are going on a road or we going to right or going to left or go straight. We are still finding our true self. The multiple or unified self explained us that we have our multiple side of ourself. We are acting different depending on a setting. For example, we talk differently in front of our parents and in front of our friends. Sometimes we are quiet and humble if we are talking to our parents, but when we are talking to our friends, we are talkative and exchanging crazy phrases like me. I am shy if I have just me, you for the first time, but if you're part of my life, I am no longer the one you've met before.
Hello everyone, my name is Derek Darius and the topic that I will discuss is all about true self versus false self. And some of you know that this topic is very relatable nowadays, especially most of the teenager, even to the new generation today. Since we are talking about this one, there are two types of this, the good one and the bad one. For me, true self is all about embracing your flaws, embracing who you really are, despite of the imperfection you have, also having an authentic experience and the feeling of being truly to yourself. While full self is when you edit yourself in any platform of social media just to fit in the society. It is when you care how people look at you more than you care yourself without even notice that society might be praising you. But the question is, are you happy of the version of you? Real life example of the full self are based around center beliefs that we take on in order to fit into our world better. If I am pretty, I will more likable. If I have a lot of money, I will be successful. If I work hard, achieve more, I will have more value. And this is some of example of the true self versus false self. True self being real, honest, meaningful, natural, while the false self is being unreal, fake, meaningless, empty, and many more. And more discussion, Mark Pradilli will discuss.
Hi, I'm Aplame Emir. I'm going to talk about proactive. So, a proactive person takes responsibility and acts instead of looking for excuses in circumstances or other people. Such as a person is usually perseverant, courageous, and aware of these choices regardless of this situation. A proactive person also takes time to prepare for a situation that might arise. So proactive people seek action to solve problems and do whatever it takes to prevent from their happening. These people are enjoying doing things and do not stay anchored in their routine, but they look for new challenges when it provides an outlet for their energy. They are highly organized both externally and internally. They can plan ahead without losing sight of what matters here right now. Proactive people are excellent problem solvers. They see challenge as having the final say as they keep their focus
Good day, sir. This is Cadet Junimer D. Paras and I am going to tackle about the last topic, the self or proactive and agentic. First is what is proactive? Proactive, according to a Merriam-Webster dictionary, being proactive means acting in anticipation of future problems, needs, or changes. Being proactive means thinking about the future and focusing on the things you can control. Instead of all those you cannot, it also means taking responsibility. And also, what is agentic? Agentic is defined as the aspect of human personality that is determined by future assessments of one's goals, objectives, and actions. A unified agentic self is composed of different cognitive components that influence the overall personality and future aspirations of individuals. These are the examples that are related to the self of proactive and agentic. First is self-reflectiveness. Self-reflectiveness allows you to analyze your life from both a macro and micro level. At a macro level, you can evaluate the overall trajectory of your life. You can see where you're headed, determine whether you're happy with the direction, and make adjustments as necessary. At a micro level, you can evaluate your responses to particular circumstances and events. Next is forethought. Forethought enables the person to anticipate the likely consequences of prospective actions. For example, I will clean my room not just because to make it clean and comfortable, but to have a good ambience for me to study. I'm thinking of good consequences. What should I do? Next is self-reactiveness. Self-reactiveness involves making choices and choosing appropriate courses of action as well as motivating and regulating them. For example, I choose this course and I must do my obligations to study, pass, and learn from my subjects. I must be reactive towards the things and circumstances that might happen and will happen. And my last example is the intentionality. Intentionality refers to acts done intentionally. For example, I saw an old woman who will cross the street, but fortunately she can't walk fast, and what I did was to help her, and my only intention is to cross her safe.